Yes, I know. I am extremely late for this upload, but this is what happens when, you got no choice but to do a lot of nonsense handyman work. Spoilers, I got bit up like a freaking light bulb. I don't know if that makes any sense of what I just said, but the point is, I got bit up like 15 times, 16 times maybe, in one arm by mosquitoes. And let me tell you, that junk sucks. So it's not the greatest thing on the planet, much less I almost damn near missed Summer Game Fest. With spoilers, it wasn't that interesting. Outside the fact that Joker's in the Sonic racing game, which finally Persona, I guess just jumps into, I guess anything Sonic related, which is great. And apparently, which granted, there's been some leaks about it too, so I won't say what it is just in case Sega gets pissed off somehow, but that's also how it is. Then I believe Street Fighter came out with their DLC roster for season 3, mean Sea Piper coming back, and I'm here for it. And then at the very same time, I guess Resident Evil 9 was like a big reveal too, so okay, not really a lot of stuff for me, but there was like 2 things in there that was for me mainly, and that's just how it was. But that's not what I'm here to yap about. Obviously, the big thing that happened this morning that I wanted to record, even though I didn't have the time to and the chance to, but now I do, which is Skirky Cuck. Let me just calm down. But it's basically 5.7's whole live stream, essentially. What the hell is going on? I got no clue, but I was hyped as shit, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been a long ass time since I feel like I've been this excited for anything related to Genshin. Especially, again, with a character like Skirk popping off as crazy as she was, and literally coming from beyond the stars to whoop your ass. That sounds like a fantastic time, and there's so much to talk about here. Genuinely, I cannot fathom how, excited I am about what's coming up in the coming weeks. It's gonna be an amazing ass time. It's gonna be glorious right now. ZZZ is very much holding me over until that point comes through. But when it comes down to it though, where do we even begin? First of all, Traveler, or at least the sibling of the Traveler, is very much looking like she's about to be on some, evil type timing, right? That just seems like what this feels like. It feels like every single time we interact with them in some shape and form, it's now like they're getting worse and worse. Even if it's not necessarily their intention, it's just feeling like they're really starting to fall down the wrong path of what they need to do, right? And that's kind of what this whole thing has been from the jump. But we haven't really seen it to be this damn bad in this sort of way, right? And now that we've seen it for what it is, now it's just starting to get more crazier, more weirder. Like, how far is all this really going to go? We got really no clue. The Loom of Fate was already basically completed back in, the last time we had, the Carver Bear, patch and all that sort of stuff. So now they're gonna try to use that damn thing and try to see what we can possibly have when it comes down to it. And obviously we're gonna have to stop that shit. But what does this all entail and how it's gonna come about? Got no damn clue. Then obviously we can't necessarily not mention the main maiden herself, Skirk from Beyond the Damn Stars, who out here just straight up is like, yeah, there's also spaceships in Genshin now, flat out telling you there's spaceships, which granted, there has been spaceships before in Genshin, like the place over Ochgnatland, if you haven't played that world quest, so technically that was like a spaceship, but it's never been fully outwardly said in story by a character that yes, a spaceship is how somebody got here. And yes, there is a lot of other nonsense in the cosmos that you're not aware of, like the real universe. What the hell does that mean? I knew, like, we already know, at least from theories and whatever, that Savat is basically covered in some type of like bubble or some type of shield. That's the theory that a lot of people is thinking of, that Savat is, covered up in some shape and form and hiding somewhere maybe, and that's what the whole damn reason of the fake sky and all that sort of stuff is. But ultimately, What do you mean the real universe? Just how big is that damn bubble on this planet? Or on this place, if it even is a planet? Who really knows? That's kind of like the thing. We don't know what the hell Teyvat looks like from space when you leave the planet. Obviously, you know, it's like, it's something there, but it's also like, what the hell is actually going on? What is it supposed to really be? We don't really know. And that's like the whole thing of why I'm super excited for Skirk, because I imagine Skirk will tell us straight up, yo, this is what, you know, Teyvat actually is, and this is what, you know, you're actually not knowing, and something like that. I imagine Skirk will straight up just tell us how things is, and just completely change our way of how we look at Teyvat as a whole. At least that is the hope I have when it comes down to it. Considering that she's basically, you know, also on Wilden type timing too. Considering that she uses literally like rift places and warp places and all that sort of stuff to kind of look badass, as well as she fights and whatever. The fact that she used a different type of power that's not related to any of the elements. Her power literally comes from the damn abyss itself, and the fact that she literally fakes having a cryo vision just to cover, I guess, cover herself up just in case somebody come through popping off in some weird ass way. The fact that she literally used, I can't stress that enough, the fact that she literally has a power from the abyss itself and not the 7 elements as we're so used to is kind of crazy, right? This is the first, I want to say this is the first character we ever really had to just straight up use a different power that's not really what actually exists in, you know, within Teyvat's whole 4 walls, if we're gonna be real. Like, don't get me wrong, the Archons and, you know, the Sovereigns obviously has their own powers and they use their own sort of things and whatever, but it's still attached to the elements, right? Even when Neuvillette was like, oh, they out here trying to fake the elements and have that for like a secret disguise or whatever, sure, yeah, but at the very same time, you know, it's still using the same damn elements. No one came through and just starts, you know, decided to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna fake an element because I can. Also, to kind of go back and add something to the whole Abyss sibling when it comes down to it, it's also kind of, and it's something I honestly kind of glossed over because I was so mind blown by the whole damn thing when I first saw it. But when it comes down to it, you mean to tell me this girl or this sibling went back to the past 500 years ago to reunite with us in some shape or form? Like, do they know what type of path they're already setting themselves on where it might not be possible? And I was reading a comment on Twitter too about how the Japanese voice for Lemine sounded, because that's unfortunately what we have to, you know, hear. But when it comes down to it though, they sounded extremely tired. Like, they sounded exhausted, right? Like, they've been doing this, granted, for 500 years, so I would be too. But at the very same time, it just like also showcasing that at this point, they just want something to work. They want something to work. They need something to work. And that is a very scary, you know, I guess like elements of this whole damn thing. Which, how is all this gonna ultimately play out? Because it's starting to get to that point where, you know, Dane said last quest, where, you know, it's not too late to save and reconcile with our own sibling, but it's starting to get to a point where, you know, that might not be possible to easily reconcile with them, and we might end up having to fight them at the end of this story. And that's probably the reason why, you know, Dane said what he said in the first trailer of Genshin at all, where it's like, you gotta defeat Dane and then prove that you are able to save her or save your sibling or whatever. And that's essentially what the vibe of this whole damn thing is doing. Also, to kind of mention another thing too, it's the fact that yes, they travel 500 years in the past, so this must be how they got, you know, recorded in Ermin's soul in some shape or form. But still, that begs the question, how the hell did a person that's not from this world end up going to, you know, Ermin's soul and using it and starting being recorded within this world as well? I don't necessarily know. And it's starting to kind of, pieces are starting to kind of lined up where it's like, oh, okay, I understand why at the end of the sibling's journey, Ermin's soul wasn't able to record it for whatever reason, because some time travel happened there, some weirdness has happened there. We just don't necessarily know how and what way. And once again, like I said, I don't know how all this is gonna lead down to anything and all the theories that goes with this stuff, but I am very much excited to see where this all could go. Also, we get to have Dainsleif in our party now? About time, you bitch! Like, where the hell have you been? We've been asking for this for ages, and now you're starting to fight and we can see it? About damn time. Now, is he gonna be playable? That's another question I'm looking forward to, because it kind of looking like it should be. It kind of feels like it should be. Will we see that happen? I don't know. I honestly kind of thought he was one of the characters that wouldn't be playable, but I don't know. We'll see. And also, to add another thing to this, I'm just adding a lot of things to this, but when it comes down to it though, since it seems like we're also getting, you know, taught by Skirk in some shape and form to fight in some shape and form, it looking like, and I said this before, the moment we got that whole thing, you know, that star thing from the Hessen Circle in, you know, this patch, it's starting to feel like, yeah, the Traveler's gonna learn some new, you know, power or some shit in some shape and form. What power is it gonna be exactly? I don't know, but it's gonna feel like it's looking like we're gonna get something new here. Also, there was like a lot of stuff that's gonna get added to the game. I think there's like a whole like way to fix your artifact stuff and all that sort of things, like gameplay stuff, which I can't tell you how I feel about it. It just sounds okay, but I'll have to look at other people's reactions to really see if it's actually worth a damn or if it's just bullshit. But we'll end up seeing if that's the case or not. The only thing I do know is, again, that Spiral Abyss retry button is so sexy, and I'm here for that, because you ain't cheating me out of my damn star wishes anymore, you bitch ass Spiral Abyss. So I feel good about that shit right there. And I'll be remiss if I don't end this whole video off with anything Nod Cry related, because what is happening in this place? We literally get to see new Fatui characters, some weird ass elf chick, literally all the factions that is gonna come to play, Alice's design, freaking finally, and it pretty much mirrors Klee from that one dang summer event, so there is that. Hopefully this means playable Alice will be soon at some point in time. And then the big ass mechanical shit behind the Fatui as well. Like, this junk all looks crazy. Again, all these factions adding up to this one damn place, and there's not a moment where I'm sitting here, I'm just like, oh, this is not peak, because it absolutely is. Honestly, I don't know what else to say, but I will say this. It is feeling like Genshin is finally kicking into high gear of just showing off what the hell is actually the whole damn story about and what we're actually gonna get into, because it's just feeling like a peak time after a peak time after another peak time, and boy howdy am I here for it. I am super here for Skirk whatsoever, even though they want to drop Shinha in the same damn banner, which, come on now, literally come on now. But at the very same time, I've still got to go for Skirk. I'm sorry Shinha, maybe a different time. But when it comes down to it though, I'm just here for all this stuff, and ain't no way somebody can sit here and just call this shit mid, because this is literally the peak we've been asking for. Literally, it's like that one SpongeBob meme where it's like, this is what we've been waiting for. They seem to like when I drop story elements. Yes, we very much do. But I guess that's really all I can say for this one. So let me know in the comments, are you pulling for Skirky Kirk? Or are you saving up for some other character maybe? Or maybe you waiting on the maybe long awaited Culabina that may or may not happen, who knows? But when it comes down to it though, we gotta pull for Skirk. It's that time. We gotta pull for Whale Mama. That just ultimately how it is for me. Also at the very same time, let me know about your thoughts about the upcoming patch too. Because another part of this whole thing that we have got to mention is that for the English side, obviously outside of Skirk and maybe a few NPCs that we have probably seen, not a lot of people are going to be voiced in this, which is kind of shit. Let's just be real. Literally a patch that needs voice acting right now is literally not going to have it outside of Skirk, which is so shitty that it literally is like, come on dude. Especially with how much wild shit looks like it's about to happen in this patch, there's no reason for Skirk to not be having other people with her that is voiced in the same language. So again, F the strike and F SAG-AFTRA for sure when it comes down to this. And at this point I'm like, I don't even care, just give me the voice in some shape or form of other people that's going to be in this quest. Recast if you got to, because at this point it's been long enough and people are tired, and I am tired as well, and people has their patience been gone thin, if not non-existent, and I am pretty much on that standstill as well. So again, hopefully we'll get to see some good news in some replacements being done in some shape or form for people for this quest. But if we don't get that, then yeah, most likely it's gonna be a Japanese ass quest, which I'm gonna be kind of mad about. I'm not gonna lie. But that's all I gotta say for this one, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.